So let's move on to rule number 5. It is one of the most important rules, if not the most important. It is view every option independently. So when it comes to rating sections, which we're not covering in this course, it is the new section which has questions with sub-questions. Now, each sub-question needs to be read independently of the previous one, and then you rank the appropriateness. When it comes to ranking questions, view every one of the 5 options independently of each other when ranking in order of appropriateness. Now, this is so important because this is what will help you choose the right order. Let's see how we can apply this into a question. A patient, Mrs. Matthews, has been admitted for investigation of abdominal pain, which her husband is aware of. You are asked to take a telephone call from him, Mr. Matthews, who is asking for an update on his wife's condition. You just have found out from a urine test that Mrs. Matthews is pregnant. Rank in order of appropriateness of the following actions in response to this situation. So pause, use rule number 5, and rank your answers now. Right, so the answer is B, D, A, C, E. Right, so the first most appropriate answer is tell Mr. Matthews that you would like to obtain Mrs. Matthews' permission to speak to him first. Now, this is quite obvious because here confidentiality is your utmost priority, and B is the most obvious appropriate answer. Likewise, when you're breaking confidentiality, that is your worst absolute answer, and that would be E, informing Mr. Matthews that Mrs. Matthews has had a urine test with a positive result. You broke patient confidentiality here, and this has to be your worst option, so hence putting it at number 5. Now, let's look at the middle 3. What are your middle 3 answers? Using rule number 5 is your second option D, A, or C. They all seem quite appropriate, but you have to look at them independently. Why is D the next best appropriate answer? Telling Mr. Matthews that you are currently investigating Mrs. Matthews' abdominal pain. Why is this over A and C? So let's read A and C. Tell Mr. Matthews that he will need to speak to Mrs. Matthews directly about her condition. And C is tell Mr. Matthews that you would like to discuss Mrs. Matthews' case with a senior colleague before speaking with him. Now, A and C seem quite correct, but read them independently rather than continuing the story from B. So imagine the husband calls and says, tell me about my wife. All you're saying is that, sorry, you need to speak to Mrs. Matthews directly about her condition. That comes off rude. You're not doing your job. And all you said to Mr. Matthews is go speak to your wife. So this shows that how one option needs to be taken in isolation. So it's not that you chose B, then you choose A. So it's not a continuation of B. And that is why it is less appropriate than B and D. So now look at C. Tell Mr. Matthews that you would like to discuss Mrs. Matthews' case with a senior colleague before speaking with him. So here you're not taking consent at all as well. Hence, telling Mr. Matthews that you will tell him after you speak to a senior colleague is also breaking confidentiality later on. You can read the UKFPO rationales now.